Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me in another of my monologues. Yesterday I was at an event promoting and helping to promote Dr. Tess Lawrie's new book, which is called Game of Trust. I've been reading that. It's a lovely hardback printed with a dust cover. How many books these days that are self-published come with a dust cover? I like dust covers. I don't know what it is about that it, makes it look like a real book, which of course it is. And it is the story, I suppose, of Tess Lawrie as she was trying to, during the COVID pandemic, get the government and other medical bodies to understand that, having done a lot of research into ivermectin, what a useful product or medicine that was that could be used. It was long-term tested, safe and actually effective, and how she was clobbered basically by the pharmaceutical companies, by their influence, by the WHO, by all of them saying, no, it's no good, it won't do. We've got these new expensive medicines that are going to do it, these gene editing medicines, of course the vaccine that came out, and all the cancellations and all the other problems that happened along the way, and was sidelined. And of course, ivermectin now has been proved to be actually such a godsend. That's the story. I'll leave a link in the description where, if you're interested, you can get a copy of her book and the sort of David and Goliath story. Fascinating thing. Anyway, it went to the what do you call it, a book launch. And I was there to basically interview Tess about why she got it, how she got it. We did an interview on my channel about a month ago now, and her co-authors were the I Ching, Ancient Wisdom. Now, I've recently done an interview with Mark Plain, and he was talking about AI and having conversations with AI, sort of, I suppose, what a lot of people are saying is modern wisdom. I'm not too sure about that. You'll probably have seen my videos on AI and how I worry about that. In fact, I think I did one yesterday. Whereas this is ancient wisdom, and it was very interesting to hear her approach to using that. Anyway, I mentioned all of that because the main tenet of today's video was that during the book launch, there's canapes and people talking and coming up and asking questions. And one of the things that a couple of people actually were talking about current affairs. And they said, it's great to see your show, Richard, blah, blah, blah. How you must have to scan and watch the mainstream media to know what's going on and try and work out what's rubbish and what's true and comment on it. And effectively, I mean, they were talking about the various wars in the world, the danger zones, and some of the nefarious activities. And I astounded them really by saying, do you know what? I don't watch it. I don't watch any of it now. I used to. I don't. I'm not influenced by it. And they said, but in order to comment on it, surely you must know what's going on, particularly in the Middle East or with the war with Ukraine. And I said, I'm just not interested. I don't want to be scared. There's continual talk, apparently, and I do see it on thumbnails on YouTube for the potential of World War III, nuclear war, this, that and the other, who's going to press the button and all of this. Now, I'm a product of the 60s, and I remember going through the similar sort of nonsense, the same old narrative that any minute now we're all going to be blown to smithereens, and we were all worried, and there were these messages about, well, don't panic, you put a paper bag and lie under your bed and it'll all be fine. And, the 4-minute warning, what are you going to do in 4 minutes? You haven't got time to write a book, read a book, or even go and have a stroll in the country. You might have some other ideas of what you would do in 4 minutes. You might get down on your hands and knees and pray, who knows? But anyway, I just thought, in recent months, well, in the last year or so, I've just said, no, I'm not watching any of this. I'm not, even when I see my fellow YouTubers, and they're still pushing out the fear-mongering. Look what's just happened over here. Look what's happened over there. And then I reflect, wait a minute, these financial crashes, these potential bombs, this what was it when you were getting people to conscription? You know, all of these things that we were told that were going to happen, so much stuff that we were told are going to happen hasn't happened, but people have been living in fear because of that. But what really has happened is people have been charged a lot more money. They've had their taxes increased. They've found that they're more frightened, they're more stressed, and they're more downbeat instead of being spiritually lifted and hopeful and looking towards a better future. And I think partly a lot of that is absolutely unnecessary. I think why would you want to live in a constant state of fear? And of course, you, my gentle viewer out there, know as well as I do that this is very much the the modus operandi. It was a late night last night, so forgive me if my words are all over the place. We had a long drive, and we've been up early sorting bits and pieces out. So I'm tongue-tied in today's video. No surprises there, really. But I just don't want part of that for Julia and I, as you know. And I know it's a project that a lot of people want to do, is to break away from this system. Now we've had enough with it. We've had enough with being under the thumb. We've had enough with the big corporations muscling in, treating us not as human beings, which of course they don't. They treat us as dead entities, hence the all caps name. And we just want to get away and have a much more simpler and fulfilling life. And when you have a certain level of maturity, you realise, don't you, that actually when you go around chasing after status or big ticket items, yachts, fast cars, big country houses, and all of that, actually when it comes down to it, that doesn't make you happy. That money and the love of money and the greed of money and the big pile of money, the pots of it and stuff, while yes, you could buy lots of trinkets and you probably don't have to worry about where the next penny is coming from, it doesn't really make you happy. And happiness is something that I think we're all looking for, and very often we don't even know that we're looking for it. And we don't even know when it's there. We don't actually understand fully what makes us happy. Those things, a baby's laugh. You know, we can all come up with the cliche things. A walk in the countryside, sitting perhaps by an ocean or by a pond, perhaps sitting in a boat on water fishing. Quiet moments, still moments, without the stress, without the phone ringing, without somebody asking you to have that report finished by the end of the week or by tomorrow morning, without the stress of big, bold letters on bits of paper telling you that you earn a lot of money or owe a lot of money, and constantly sort of looking for the next deal. That actually, is that really what makes you happy? Yes, it can make us buzz in the moment, as they say, you know, as you sort of go, oh, if I get this deal done, I can make this money and it's going to, you know, and it's always like, if I get this done, then this will happen. And we forget about the moment now, that we're actually alive now. And now is the only moment there ever is. Yesterday is just full of remembrances. Tomorrow is things that you can look forward to or worry about. But now is the moment we're alive. And if we're so busy having our heads full of all this mainstream nonsense about wars going on in places that we personally cannot do anything about. I cannot really make much of a difference if I comment on something that's happening and say, oh, is this right? And this is outrageous and this is all this. Really, does that make much of a difference? It would be, I think, more fortuitous and responsible to actually live my life now. And yes, plan for the future, but plan, as Julia and I want to do, as many people do, is get onto the land, have a little homestead, grow some food, enjoy nature, and not have all these things buzzing around. I'm interested in writing stories, and my Biggleswick book will be out very soon, which does have a lot of truth bombs in it. I hope that people will enjoy it, but at the same time it's a story. It is fiction, but with some truths underlining it, and I enjoy doing that. I enjoy that fantasy world of writing stuff. But the last thing I really want to do is to sit on here, like so many people do, and frighten people or divert their attention to things which actually may all be fictitious anyway. There's so much going on out there, and I do feel that the truth and freedom movement itself has been infiltrated with a lot of stuff to make those people who are more awake than others to worry about things that actually are not even true. I don't know how you feel about that, whether you find that this is all a nonsense. So sometimes I ask myself, you know, am I really being relevant to people anymore? I think that my relevance is trying to remind people not to worry about some of these stories, these red flags. You know, we still haven't had the aliens, have we? We still haven't had that. I mean, you kind of think that's still on the card, that we'll have the alien invasion. Down where I live, down on the south coast, we're having glorious weather, bit of a heat wave, which is very lovely, and no doubt that's going to be the thing that the government will start to say, oh, you've had too much sun. Too much sun, the planet's warming up, we'll have to block the sun. We know they want to do that. We know they're doing experiments, and yet we know they've been doing that for over 40 years anyway. I stepped out my house this morning, and the lawn in the sky has already been mown. You know, the stripes that you get on people's lawns? Well, that's up there with the old chemtrails. They're already doing it. It's already up there, and you know, the mist to stop the sun coming down is one thing. And even now, if you get too much sun, I get suspicious that then, actually, it's not so much blocking the sun. They want to stop the rain from coming. So one way or another, they'll blight the crops. And in the end, you just start going, why am I worrying about all this? I just got to live for the now. Got to live in the moment and enjoy life and be positive. Send out love to everybody and make the most of what we can. And so I don't know how relevant my videos are these days. People are very kind, of course, and big thanks to everybody, naturally, who are helping the show keep going. I appreciate that. But yeah, being frightened, being scared and being concentrated, I'm not interested in that. We're alive at this precise moment now. So we should, instead of worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow, we should enjoy it at this time right now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you, hopefully, on the next one.